So the law we're going to talk about today is the law of stewardship or the law of management. What the law of management states is if you manage whatever you have, then it will multiply. But if you fail to manage what you have, even the little that you have will be taken away from you. This law is derived from Matthew chapter 25, where Jesus tells us a parable of the talents, where people were given talents that they were supposed to multiply and then bring back. So in this parable, there was one who was given 5 talents, the other one was given 2 talents, and the other one was given 1. And the one who was given 5 multiplied, and there were 10. And then the owner was happy, and then was happy for the one who had 2, who had multiplied. But the one who had 1, who only brought back that 1, the owner was not happy about him, and he actually punished him for not multiplying that 1 talent. This does not only apply after people die, like when the day of judgment, but it also happens in our everyday life where God multiplies what you have based on how you were able to appreciate and manage what you already have. This is why we see Jesus in Matthew chapter 25, 29 to 30. He says, "For anyone who has, more will be given to them. But to him who does not have, even the little that they have will be taken away from him." So God always tests us with the little things first before he gives us more. We see this exactly in the book of Genesis when he created Adam and Eve. He had created the whole world for Adam and Eve, but he first of all put them in a garden. Why? So that they can learn to manage the garden first before they can manage the whole earth and multiply upon the whole earth. Now, even Adam and Eve themselves failed to manage just the one garden that God had given them, and they were thrown out. So you see that this law is a fundamental law, and it applies in a lot of areas. So when people do not manage or fail to manage what they have, they lose the things that they have. And I understand sometimes each and every one of us, we have something that we are looking for. We have something that we need or something that we want. And we are focused on looking for this thing to the extent that we lose control of what we already have. Like most of us, we are looking for success, right? We are looking for marriages. We are looking for wealth. We are looking for forward to expand our businesses. We might be looking for good grades in school. We might be looking for a bigger and a better house. We might be looking for money. We might be looking for a lot of things. So our pursuit to these things may actually hinder us from seeing the things that we already have that need our management, that needs our care. For example, someone can be looking for a relationship, like they want to enter into a relationship, but they fail to love the relationships that they already have. Like they fail to communicate on a constant basis with their parents. They fail to love their grandfather and to visit them. They fail to love their cousins, to be there in terms of need and in terms of good. They fail to forgive those that hurt them, the relationships that they already have, they fail to build them. And now they are looking forward to enter into marriage. So according to this law now, it will be difficult for that person to enter into marriage because the person is already failing to manage the resources that they already have. Even if someone has got money, if you have got $10 and are failing to manage that $10 to buy the good things, maybe when you have $10, you waste it on things that you don't need. What makes you think that when you have 1 million, you will use it in the right way? So if you learn to manage the $10, the $100 that you have and use it properly, then it will multiply and you can use it for better. You want to expand your church as a minister, or you want to expand your business, but you are failing to take care of the little members that you have. You don't pray for them, or you don't love them, or you don't take care of their needs. You are not there for them, or you just take away from them, like You don't give them something other than just preaching the word to them or desiring their submission to you. So how can God give you now a church of members of 1 million? If you've got a small business and you don't take care of your employees to pay them their salaries at the day that you promised them, how will you take care of 1 million employees? You fail to be honest in your small business by exactly selling the right measure of the things you promise people that you are going to sell them. Like you use crookery methods or tricks or whatever. But if you fail, the basis is if you fail to be faithful in the little, you cannot be faithful in much. Jesus said it in Matthew that if you fail to be faithful in little, you cannot be faithful in much. And if you cannot be faithful in someone else's, who can trust you with your own? This is what the Lord said. So we need to understand this, and our lives will never be the same. So sometimes you used to wonder why sometimes a very high grade student, after they finish school, they fail to find a job or their life does not become better. But a grade C student, their life becomes better. Some of the reasons why grade A people fail to make it in life is because when they were in school, they only focused on getting A's. They only focused on improving their grades and they failed to manage all the other facets of life that need their attention. They failed to create lasting friendships. They failed to create connections. They failed to love their families. And all they focused on was education and improving their knowledge. I'm saying this because even I was a victim of this kind of thinking, which is very wrong. And also sometimes we have got very hardworking fathers. The father is very hardworking. He's always going to work for his children, but he is always at work. He fails to manage everything. You need to go to work. You need to go to church. You need to go to visit your parents. You need to take care of your children. You need time with your wife. You need time with yourself. You need all those things are necessary in life, and you manage each and every one of them. Failure to do this and focusing on one thing, the biggest frustration that you can get is you will not get to the success that you intend to. You may get the good grades, but in life you will not be successful. You may work very hard, but still at the end of the day, nothing to show. So we need to understand this law. If you have got, for example, a room, you are a boy, you are a teenager, this applies to teenagers mostly. If you fail to clean the room that you stay in, and then now when you grow up, you say, I want to buy my own house. How can you live in a 10-roomed house when you fail to take care of that one small room that you have? Learn to manage your room. Learn to clean your room. Wash yourself. Brush your teeth. Take care of yourself. Take care of what you have. Be in constant check and management of what you have. I think one of the main reasons why people fail at this is because there's no one who really teach them the transition from being a child to being a steward or a manager. Because that transition is found on the teenage age, where you move from being a child. Because a child, even according to the Bible, does not manage anything. But a son and an heir has to manage. So this is why many people fail, because there are no classes for people to learn to manage all facets of life and to really pinpoint the effects of failing to manage one or two things in life. So I think we'll create another video where we are explaining about managing different areas of life and how not managing this part, how not managing friendship can affect the future, how not managing love can affect the future, how not being taking care of yourself can manage the future. Sometimes people, they even fail to manage time. They are always late wherever they are going. And this is prophetic. When you are always late wherever you are going, in life you also face delays. And people need to know this and learn to understand this. And this is a real. Once you manage what you have, it will expand. Because if you are to look at God, He always uses what you have to expand you. Just like He did with Moses. When Moses wanted to go and confront Pharaoh and he was asking God, What can I show that I have been sent by God? And God said to Moses, what is it that is in your hand? And Moses said, it's my rod. And God used that rod. He did not look for something else. Why? Because God always uses what you already have. Even when he's looking for the salvation of men, if you read the Old Testament, every time the Israelites wanted to be saved, he would use someone from Israel. He would use Samson, he would use Gideon, he uses Deborah, he uses a lot of people, but he takes from the Israelites a person who would deliver the Israelites. So God always uses what you already have to expand you and to bless you. So if you cannot manage and see and appreciate what you already have, then you cannot expand. Sometimes we are crying for God for designer clothes. Sometimes we are crying for God that we want a better phone, we want this and want that. But then we fail to appreciate and thank God for what we already have. Like, is there any designer clothes that is more beautiful than your skin? If your skin is not beautiful, if your skin is not like the way it is, even if you wear a designer clothes with a skin that is like a crocodile skin, the designer clothes won't make any sense. One of the disadvantages now, like if you break, sometimes people they try to go around nature, try to pick the world, try to trick nature and and get that thing, even though the nature is refusing, take that thing anyway. So they may try to, let's say they can see like, I don't like this guy. I don't want to marry him. I don't like him. But simply because you want marriage, you force yourself to marry that guy. You force yourself. Or let's say you want an opportunity, you want to start business and you have failed. There's no capital that is coming because you are failing to manage, but you can't realize it. What are you going to do? You try to compromise what you understand and you sleep with the person so that you get funding from that person, trying to trick nature like that. Yes, at first, it may appear like you succeed. It may appear like your business is going, but trust me, in the future, that same thing will bite you. You will lose the marriage. You will lose the business. You will lose the partnership. Or if you don't lose, you will continue to compromise your integrity until the day you go into the grave. If you sleep with someone today so that you want to get a visa, tomorrow you are going to sleep to get a job. Tomorrow you are going to sleep to get a promotion. Tomorrow you are going to sleep with someone. And it will continue until you die in sin. So these are the disadvantages now when you try to compromise and trick nature. You can never trick nature. It will always come back to you. So even the enemy now, he knows how to attack people. If a person does not appreciate what they already have and the person does not manage what they already have, what the enemy now comes to do is to tell you that you don't have. The enemy will try to say you now, sell your soul or do this or do that, save him, and he will give you an iPhone, he will give you cars, he will give you things that you don't have. Because you don't already appreciate what you have, you can even go ahead and sell your own soul. You can even go ahead and do prostitution. You can go ahead and become gangs. You can become anything now because all you see in your eyes is what you don't have. You always see that you don't have money, but you don't see that you are healthy. You always see that you are failing to eat a McDonald's or you are failing to eat in an expensive restaurant, but you fail to appreciate the water that you drink every day, that without which you cannot survive. We always see the things that we don't have. And when you are like that, the enemy will come and you will strike and he will tell you that you don't have and he will offer you something that you, after you have, you will die. This is the same trick that he used on Eve. He went to Eve. Eve was blessed by God with everything. And the one thing that God had restricted from Eve, that is the one thing that the devil came and tempted Eve and say, look, you don't have. You are not like God. You can become like God. You can become greater than what you already have if only you take from this tree. Yet, Eve was already created in the image of God and she already had everything she needed. And she took the lie of the enemy, because she focused on what she didn't have. She focused on the tree that she didn't have instead of focusing, appreciating, thanking, and glorifying God for what she already have. Therefore, she was an easy target. So we need to learn to understand this. And usually, people we fail to manage, not only because we don't want to manage. No. Sometimes we really do have a desire to manage, but there are forces that fight us so that we don't manage. Because sometimes everyone wants to clean their room, for example. But the reason why most of us fail to clean our room, or a person can wake up and then fail to clean our room, is because from the first moment they failed to wake up early, and mostly maybe they are depressed, they have sadness, or they are in a hurry, or they went late somewhere, or they can be many forces, maybe addictions, depression, anger, emotional issues, or even being stuck to social media, or too much work. All these things can distract you from managing what you have. All these things can distract you from seeing and appreciating what you are supposed to appreciate. And that is very dangerous. So we need to pray for the grace of God to do a self introspection, to see the things we are supposed to manage and manage them, to appreciate the things we are supposed to appreciate. Even if people say your mother is like this, your mother did this to you, yes, any person can harm you, any person can do wrong things to you, but you have to do your duty of loving them. You have to do your duty of taking care of them as a child. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, it doesn't matter. God will protect you. So, this is the law of management.